Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. The most heavily anticipated quarter-final match took center stage as Flick's Bayern took on Setien's Barcelona. In a match where Bayern came in as favourites, the match ended 8-2 to Bayern thanks to goals by Müller, Perisic, Gnabry, Kimmich, Lewandowski and Coutinho, while Suarez and an Alaba own goal got Barca on the scoreboard. The XG indicated it was a deserved win, 5.1 to 0.9. But what tactics did both managers use during the match? Let's take a look. A quick reminder of the formations used by both sides, as seen on the OneFootball app. OneFootball will get you match updates, formation updates, as well as player and team stats, and so much more. And the best part is, you can get it absolutely free through the sponsored link in the description below. And firstly, a special thanks to everyone who responded to the Patreon poll and has been able to support me so far. If you want to help support FMS and get access to early and exclusive videos, like Bayern's previous win over Barca in 2013, and much more, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple. Let's start by looking at what Barca tried to do with the ball. Barca of course wanted to play out from the back, starting with Ter Stegen. From the goal kick, the centre-backs would position themselves inside the box whilst the full-backs pushed high, and Bayern, keen to press, usually had men stationed just outside the box ready to press, and pushed their backline extremely high. Bayern could afford to use this high line due to a few factors. Barcelona did not have any aerial targets, with Suarez only winning one aerial. In addition, none of their forwards or wingers are pacey. Couple this with Kimmich, Davis and Alaba all being quick enough to recover anything over the top, and they felt confident pushing them high. Bayern's pressing mechanism was varied, but they generally were willing to push the extra midfielder high to cut off the option into Busquets. But the most interesting mechanisms came from open play. Bayern used a high 4-4-2 press, usually with Müller alongside Lewandowski, although of course that varied. Once the ball went to one of the centre-backs, Lewandowski would often drop into the midfield onto Busquets to prevent the central progression, and crucially, Bayern's wingers were willing to push narrower, ready to potentially spring a press onto the centre-back. So, if Barca could not work the ball wide to the fullbacks and went back to Ter Stegen, then Lewandowski would press using his cover shadow to keep Busquets marked and onto Ter Stegen and force him into a poor pass, as shown by his 71% pass accuracy compared to Neuer's 86%. We see Bayern's high press pay dividends on the Perisic goal, as when Roberto gets the ball, he is swarmed, and Bayern take advantage of the space behind the fullback with great combination play. But on the occasions where Barca did get past the press, it was often through the outlets in the wide regions, either from the keeper or through quick switches after a Bayern man came narrow. Barcelona's 4-4-2 was fluid and became more like a diamond at times, with Messi at the tip and Vidal pushing high almost as a forward. So, with so many central numbers, Bayern's wingers were often drawn in to defend narrowly. And Bayern weren't punished for this because Barca didn't use traditional wingers, so at worst, Bayern would be 1 versus 1 in the wide areas. And interestingly, Bayern seemed to want to deny any space in the central regions, and this, paired with Barcelona's front two tended to drag in Bayern's fullbacks narrow, meant that Barcelona's fullbacks were consistently the free men. This, combined with a high line, was bad news for Bayern Munich, and we see this in the own goal. Vidal moving into the forward role draws Kimmich's attention for a moment. Alba is not tracked by Gnabry, who is pressing higher and narrower. He beats the high line and his cross leads to the own goal. We also see this in the second goal. Messi drops from the tip of the diamond into midfield, and Perisic doesn't track deep. Kimmich is narrow, as moments earlier he was tracking Suarez, so Alba gets behind the high line in the space and he eventually creates the goal. However, it was Semedo who they usually try to use as the outlet. Davis tended to tuck in well in both high and deeper areas of the pitch, as Messi tended to drift into this zone. And Semedo made this run time and again, and at times Barcelona did find him in dangerous positions. But this was also a region Bayern consistently took advantage of, as one interception meant that he was caught high up the pitch due to a poor pass, and this led to a few of the Bayern goals. We see this in the first Bayern goal. Semedo had made the high run to provide the team with width and tried to look for the cross. There is a turnover, and because Perisic stayed high, he is played in by Gnabry. Bayern looked to overload the box, and the 1-2 leads to the goal by Müller. For Bayern's 7th goal, Messi has dropped into the midfield looking to find the Semedo run once again. He is robbed, and using combination play, once again Coutinho gets into the space behind Semedo for the easy goal. But what did Bayern look to do with the ball? On the occasions where Barcelona did look to press high when they were now behind, they had to push their front two high and have a high line. And unlike Barcelona, Bayern had two genuine aerial presences who could combine to try and look for the space in behind the high line, which they managed a few times, and Lewandowski won 4 aerials compared to Müller's 2. But when defending, Barca generally used a flat 4-4-2 with Vidal and De Jong wide. To create the man advantage against Barcelona's front two, it was Thiago who usually dropped deep to form the back three. This had the secondary effect of allowing Alaba and Davies high up the pitch. And from here, he could then look to switch the ball to the winger or to the fullback, as shown by 5 long balls attempted and 5 completed. And generally, having their fullback so high allowed the wingers to play inside the pitch. So if Goretzka couldn't be the outlet for Thiago, one of the wingers could drop into the midfield to provide an option as well. And by having so many men between the lines, Bayern caused problems. And this is shown by the front four's fluidity, which helped to cause confusion. The heat map of all 4 shows touches across the width of the pitch. This was helped by the fact that Messi and Suarez are aging and cannot contribute defensively, so Thiago could often easily bypass them to join the midfield and increase their overload. But the narrow wingers from Bayern meant that they often pinned Barcelona's own wider midfielders deep, as they were afraid to leave space between the lines. But this also created the problem of giving Thiago too much time on the ball, so Goretzka time and again could make the third man runs, knowing that Thiago had easy possession and he would then create an extra passing option. We see shades of this in Gnabry's goal. Thiago is on the ball with time, as Gnabry is narrow in this region, drawing De Jong's attention. Goretzka has moved into the space between the lines, and Longley had been on the front foot trying to press Gnabry, but the flick ball is too good, leading to the goal. But Bayern used the wide regions expertly as well. They could do this by drawing a Barcelona fullback out of position, often by Alaba moving into the left back position when Thiago dropped deep, and this created space in behind for the run by the fullback. But the main way they did this was through 1v1s. These were facilitated by the narrow wingers and Barca's overly narrow midfield, meaning that Kimmich and Alaba were often 1 versus 1. Lewandowski was very mobile and would often move into the half space to draw a fullback in temporarily, allowing Bayern Munich to move higher up the pitch. And once they were in these wide regions, they consistently caused problems. This could be by crosses, especially through Kimmich, who attempted 8, including set pieces. They would have plenty of numbers to hit because Gnabry, Perisic, Müller and Lewandowski would all attack the box, and we see shades of this in Müller's goal. Perisic is out wide and gets the cross in, whilst Gnabry from his narrow position has attacked the box and wins the first ball. The ball then runs to the other high fullback, who can then return the cross to Müller. We also see this in the Kimmich goal. Davies was lethal 1 versus 1 in the match, completing a game-high 5 dribbles. He's 1 versus 1 and skins Semedo. We see Lewandowski, Müller, Perisic and Gnabry all narrow and occupying defenders, which allows Kimmich in on De Jong's blind side for the tap-in. And for the final goal, we once again see Thiago with way too much space. Griezmann, like all the other Barca wide men throughout the match, was narrow and concerned with the central threat, allowing the fullback to cross for the goal. Overall, Flick took advantage of Barca's every weakness. With Bayern now into the semi-finals, who do you have as your Champions League favourites? And what could Setien have done differently in this match? Drop it down in the comments below. And hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. Don't forget to subscribe to see an upcoming video on the Leo Messi conundrum that Barcelona have. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.